U.S. President Donald Trump has set a strict 2-week deadline to determine whether a Russia-Ukraine peace deal is possible, escalating diplomatic pressure as the war drags into its 4th year. In a telephone interview with right-wing Newsmax host Todd Starnes on Thursday, Trump said, "Within 2 weeks we're going to know one way or the other," adding that if peace prospects falter, he might adopt a different approach. Trump, who campaigned on ending the war in a single day during last year's election, has yet to deliver a breakthrough more than 3 years after Russia's invasion in February 2022. The president's remarks follow his high-profile summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin last Friday in Alaska, which failed to produce a ceasefire and saw Trump drop his push for an immediate truce. Earlier this week, Trump hosted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and several European allies at the White House, fueling hopes of direct Putin-Zelensky peace talks. But those hopes dimmed on Thursday when Zelensky accused Russia of avoiding talks altogether, saying Moscow does not want to end the war. Russia, in turn, claimed Ukraine is uninterested in a long-term peace settlement, arguing Kiev's security demands are fundamentally incompatible with Moscow's terms. Trump's 2-week deadlines are not new. In May, he had issued a similar timeline to assess Putin's sincerity on peace efforts, warning of a different response if no progress was made. Meanwhile, the situation on the ground is worsening. In his evening address Thursday, Zelensky reported a massive overnight Russian attack with 574 drones and 40 missiles targeting Ukraine. While Ukrainian defenses intercepted many of these, some missiles hit civilian infrastructure, including an American-owned household appliance factory in Mukachevo. Zelensky called it a deliberate attack on U.S. investment.
Today, the whole day in a number of our regions work had been carried out after the massive nightly Russian attack. There were more than 500 drones, 574, and there were missiles including ballistics, 40 missiles. A large portion of all of that were intercepted by our warriors, and it is notable that we do have such an ability and we have the required means to do it. More than 30 missiles we brought down, and dozens of Shahid drones were destroyed by our interceptors. I thank all the designers and operators, but unfortunately there were hits as well, in different regions from Zaporizhia to the Volyn region and Zakarpattia. In Mukachevo the Russians burned a factory, an American factory by the way, a manufacturer of electrical appliances. And those were household appliances, nothing military. The Russians knew perfectly well where they were aiming. It was a missile strike. We believe it was a deliberate strike precisely on American property here in Ukraine. A strike on American investment. A very telling strike like this whole massive attack at the very time when the world waits for a clear answer from the Russians, an answer regarding negotiations to end the war. There are 2 negotiation formats which realistically can bring progress, and one of these is to meet at the leadership level. A bilateral format of Ukraine-Russia, and a trilateral one Ukraine-US-Russia. We discussed that in Washington. Putin talked about that during his call to President Trump. Now what we hear from Russia is just, truth be told, simply indecent. They are trying to get away from the need to hold a meeting. They don't want to end this war. They carry on with massive strikes on Ukraine and very tough assaults on the front line, and even launch missiles on an American company similar to many of other absolutely civilian targets of ours. And very close to EU and NATO borders, by the way. A Russian attack drone ventured into the territory of Poland, and very unpleasant incidents involving drones also took place in Lithuanian territory. All of this is not something, accidental. It is Russian arrogance. We expect a principled reaction from our partners.
Розраховуємо, що реакція партнерів буде принципова.